Welcome to Dateline SAU, your source for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Charles Hart.
And I'm Katie Link. On October 1st, St. Ambrose University officially installed its 14th president, Dr. Amy Novak. Dateline SAU's David Meyer takes us through the event.
It is a distinct honor for me to introduce the 14th president of St. Ambrose University, Dr. Amy Novak.
The ceremony was accompanied by performances from SAU's band and choir. There was a reception afterwards on the WRC lawn, which featured food, live music, and dancing. This was a perfect time for those in attendance to share their first impressions of Novak.
She brings a lot of energy, a lot of passion. She's exciting. She invigorates. I feel energized when I'm around her.
I think that she really wants to make a personal connection with students. I was already invited to the Student Government Executive Board to her house for dinner. I just been on campus. I've seen her a lot. So I think just her presence says a lot in her commitment to the university.
Novak becomes the president of St. Ambrose after serving as president of Dakota Wesleyan University for 7 years. David Meyer, Dateline SAU.
Novak's presidency begins a new era at St. Ambrose, replacing Sister Joan Lisinski, who served as president for 14 years. The inauguration also served as a kickoff to homecoming weekend at the university.
Alumni and their children returned to campus Saturday morning for the Killer Bee 5K and Bumble Rumble. Dateline SAU's Carolyn Graham takes us through the action.
Get set, go!
The race started bright and early Saturday morning with alumni and current students alike lined up on Ripley Street ready to run, jog, and stroll their way to the finish line. The first person to cross that finish line was Logan Keene at a speedy 18 minutes and 40 seconds. But for most participants, it's not about the competition.
It's kind of like what they were talking about yesterday. Come to the table. Like, here's a big table of all sorts of different people coming for one cause, to run and raise money for the cross-country team and see the neighborhood and show them we're still here.
For many runners, this was a chance for alumni to come back to campus and reconnect with old friends.
I wanted to come back here and just kind of be a part of the Ambrose family and be a part of that community again, and it means the world to me to be back here again.
Ran it a couple years ago, I think only for my first time, so this is only really my second, maybe third time. But I love coming back on campus. I love this route through the neighborhood. When I lived here as chaplain not too long ago, I would run this route just for my own runs sometimes. So it's a familiar route to me, and it's great to connect with alumni. Just ran into a classmate of mine, in fact. So.
Carolyn Graham, Dateline SAU.
After alumni and friends crushed the 5K, their kids stepped up to take on the Bumble Rumble.
Go!
Youngsters were separated into 4 categories for their run up Ripley Street. There was a 50-meter, 100-meter, 400-meter, and 800-meter race. The crowd cheered the kids on from start to finish, and there were only a few minor wipeouts. Everyone involved earned their medals.
Another homecoming tradition returned this year with the Taste of St. Ambrose. Students and alumni enjoyed a tailgate-style cookout on the Rogowski Center patio before heading out to catch the homecoming football game. The event featured food hot off the grill, pictures with Barney the Bee, and a chance for old classmates to check in with one another.
Bees of the last decade celebrated homecoming by attending the Bold Reunion at the Alumni House on Brady Street. Guests from the graduating class of 2010, 2011, 2015, and 2016 who reached the 10- and 5-year graduation milestones respectively were gifted a special class mug to commemorate the occasion. Attendees were treated to appetizers and drinks with music DJ'd by KALA Operation Manager David Baker.
The St. Ambrose Theater Department is in preparation for its annual Fresh Face Review. This event has been a tradition for the past 8 years. The goal is to showcase and welcome first-year and transfer students who want to get involved in the department. Theater professor Dr. Corey Johnson says Fresh Face Review works on many levels.
In the Galvin Fine Arts Center, there are very few theatrical events that I don't go into, having had some responsibility for and knowledge of, and sort of, not that it takes away the magic, but you kind of know how everything should work and what should come next. And this I just get to sit back and appreciate the talent that is brought forth, and that is so freeing and lovely. It is like a gift of a theatrical event that the first years give to the school as a whole, and we get to look forward to the next 3.5 years with them.
Students present a variety of theatrical performances, from classic musical theater songs to monologues. Upperclassmen direct the newcomers. Their work will be showcased on Friday, October 22nd in the Allert Auditorium.
Resident advisors on campus hosted a carnival for students outside of Hagen and Tiedemann Halls. The event included games with the opportunity to win prizes. Popcorn and snow cones were also available to participants, along with balloon twisting. The goal of the carnival was to bring back students after a previously distant school year.
More interaction face-to-face with our residents, especially after the past year. As everyone knows, it was pretty difficult, and getting any residents to really feel like they're part of a community was a hard task. So we thought, what is more immersive than something you can't help but walk past and has a lot of loud colors and things for you to do?
The event finished off with 4 of the RAs getting a pie to the face courtesy of their residents.
The annual QC Marathon took place on Sunday, September 26th in Moline. Tyler Pence, a track coach from the University of Illinois, became the first U.S. runner to win the race since 2001. 2 of his competitors were disqualified from the race after accidentally being led off course by a race volunteer bicyclist. Pence now has the 3rd best time in the history of the event at 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 6 seconds. All participants that were affected were compensated for the unfortunate occurrence. Coming up after a short break, the St. Ambrose bowling teams are off to a good start with an impressive showing at the Midwest Collegiate Championships.
After 3 tough losses, the Fighting Bee football team looks to get back on the winning track as they host Trinity International for homecoming.
We'll have these stories and more coming up after the break.
On Dateline SAU.
St. Ambrose holds a really special place in my heart. I think I have Ambrose to thank for where I'm at in my professional career. And I think when I think about Ambrose the most, it's where I met my husband. We work together, and so when I look at my family and everything that I have in my life right now, it all ties back to St. Ambrose in some way, shape, or form.
We're more than a radio station. We're your neighbors, investing time in our community. We're mentors, guiding the next generation of broadcasters. We're supporters of veterans, partners with social service agencies, and investigators of history. We're dedicated sports fans. We're committed to the stories that make the Quad Cities unique. We are KALA Radio, 88.5 FM, 106.1 FM. Turn it on, turn it up.
It was homecoming weekend at St. Ambrose, and the Fighting Bees football team looked to break a 3-game losing streak when they played host to Trinity International University. Coming into the second half, the Bees found themselves tied up with the Trojans at 21, but this 42-yard pass to Yemi Ward saw the Bees put another 6 points on the board. With a little over 7 minutes left in the fourth, Tom Casey finds Sam Kerr for a short pass, and Kerr gets a big block up the sideline for this 34-yard score. A short while later, Trinity's offensive troubles came to a head as a sack deep in Trojan territory resulted in a fumble recovery for the Bees. Caden King is put in charge of the ball following the fumble recovery, and he scampers 3 yards downfield and into the end zone for another Fighting Bees touchdown. The Bee defense led St. Ambrose to an impressive victory on homecoming weekend with 6 sacks and 5 takeaways. And as a result, the Bees secure the win 49-28. The women's volleyball team struggled to keep up with St. Xavier this past Tuesday. 7 serving errors in the first 2 sets contributed as the women fell to the Cougars. Despite an 8-2 run in the third set, led by kills from Jill Kavalauskas and an ace from Wendy Dion, St. X rallied with 3 straight points to close out the game. The women fall to 12-8 overall and find themselves 4-5 in the CCAC. 2 members of the St. Ambrose cross-country team earned Conference Runner of the Week honors for their performance at the Grand View Viking Invitational. Emma Duncan recorded a personal best, finishing second among 65 runners in the women's event. Nolan Rudd set a course record and meet record in the men's 8K race, finishing first in a 93-runner field. Rudd broke the old course record by over a minute and ran the second fastest time in school history. The women's soccer team has now won 3 in a row, including a 2-1 upset of number 23 Trinity Christian. The win in overtime handed the Trolls just their second loss of the season. On Saturday, the team followed up with a win at Holy Cross. The Bees are now 7-4 on the year, 5-2 in the conference. The St. Ambrose bowling squads are off to a hot start for their 2021 and 2022 season. During competition in the Midwest Collegiate Championships this past weekend, the men's squad found themselves sitting comfortably in the number 1 seed, led by senior Nate Stubler, who averaged just over 232 points per match. The men fell in the semifinal match to Weber International in just 2 sets. On the women's side, the Bees secured the number 4 seed going into bracket play, but fell in the first round to the would-be champions, Savannah College of Art and Design. And that's it for sports this week. I'm Cameron Giampalo.
And that's all we have for you on this edition of Dateline SAU.
Next week is fall break, so we'll be back in 2 weeks with the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
Remember to check out the SAU TV Facebook and Instagram pages for our newscasts, late-breaking news, and more.
You can also find news stories and videos on The Hive at SUthebuzz.com.
Thanks for watching.